Okay, so let's go over today's class. So basically, previous day, we also try to discuss about the water quality monitoring. So using the NDCI, then NDTI, and turbidity. Okay, so basically today I will try to discuss about that part, how you can easily make the user interface such as web application, user interface web application like this web application. How you can easily add your date slider, how you can easily add here the all of the things, all of the functionality, how you can easily add. Okay, so that anyone can use this web application and easily they can easily get the data such as time series data, as well as they can easily get the animation. They can easily they can simply draw their ROI and they can easily get the result. Okay, so let's go over today's class. So I simply share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so basically today we will try to make this type of web application so that anyone can use this web application. They can simply select this ROI. They can easily get all of the legend, then animation, then this type of chart, as well as they can easily select their own time period. They can easily draw their ROI, submit, clear. So all of the functionality we can add today's online training program, so that you can easily learn the user interface of Google Earth Engine platform and how it will be work. So let's go. I simply go to my code editor. I simply open a new code editor. So I also try to show you all of the things step by step, so that you can, I hope you can easily learn. Okay, so I simply open the code editor. Okay, so this is our code editor. In this time, this code editor, we can get this United States, this type of uh, panel. We can get this map for United States default. You can see it's showing the default. But in this time, suppose you want to show the another region. When you want to open this map, you can see in this web application, when I click to the run, I can get this place. Automatically it's showing my panel, showing this type of coordinate or this type of place I can get. You can see I can get this place. Okay, so I set this option, so that's why I can get this map view directly. Otherwise you can see it's showing the default result look like this. Okay, for setting this type of function, so when I click on this map, it's showing this type of place, showing this place. So that's why I need use a function, this function called the map.setCenter. In this time, this is the center. It's default showing the United States all time. Okay, but I want to show the another region or another coordinate I want to show. So that's why I simply use a function. It's called the map.set center. Okay, so this is the function. When you want to set this map, in this time it's showing the default this coordinate, but when I want to set this center for another region, then we can get this another place. So in this time I simply use the map.setCenter and then press Ctrl space. You can say I can get all of the argument. In this time it has the total 3 argument: longitude, latitude, and zoom level. So I simply set my requirement latitude or longitude. I simply set it. So I simply set the longitude, suppose 23.277, and then I will set here the latitude such as 17.7009. Okay, and then I simply put the zoom level, suppose 30, and click to the run. In this time when I can run this, you can see this map automatically showing the another region. Now this center is set. Okay, so in this time this my map interactive view set this coordinate. Okay, so now when I make the web application and go to this web application, it directly showing this place. Okay, it is directly showing this coordinate. Okay, so this is the map dot set center. Okay, so when you want to change the your in this time it's default showing the United States all time. So when you want to use here the map dot set center, it automatically showing your own coordinate or which place you want to display on your web application, it automatically showing. Okay, okay, so in this time here you can see in this time I also add a title in this map, water quality analysis. Okay, this is called the water quality analysis. This is the title of this map. How I can add this map? You can see in this time it has a two part. First part you can see the background. This background is the black color background, and then I also on the background color I can simply put the title, water quality analysis. Okay, so it has a two types. First of all you can see the panel. So the black color, this is the white color background, it's called the panel. Okay, this panel I add a level, it's called the level. This title called the level, and this type of the background, white color background, it's called the panel. Okay, so in this time I want to add a panel, and on the panel I want to add a level. Okay, so let's go. So I simply write a function. First of all, so I can simply put the function such as, suppose you can simply put the name is the suppose title. You can put any name, title. Okay, then I simply you can see user interface. In this time I want to add the title user interface. So you can see when any user when use this web application, they can easily find out this is the title. Okay, so user interface panel. So we can use here this function, its name is that UI, user interface, then use here the panel. Okay, so this is the function when you want to add any panel. Okay, in this panel I want to add two things. First of all I want to add here this I want to add here this a white color background. In this white color background I also add here the level. Okay, so for this I simply use here this parenthesis and use here this square bracket. In this square bracket I want to add here the another things, it's called the UI dot label. Okay, I want to use here the UI dot label. In the UI dot label I want to set some option. Okay, so I want to set some option. So for this I simply use here the parenthesis also and make a dictionary. So in this dictionary I want to set some value. First you can say simply use here the value. So value is a title. So value is a title. Okay, so you can see value is a title. So in this time I simply set the any title, which title you want to need. So I simply use the title such as water quality monitoring. Okay, I simply put this water quality monitoring. This is my title. In this time I want to add some style. Okay, before add the style I want to add this title on the map and then show what it look like. So I simply you can see all of the things will be stored in a variable title. In this time this title I want to show on this map. Okay, so I simply use a function, it's called the map.add. Okay, so mainly map.add I want to add this title, and all of the things will be stored in a variable. I simply copy the variable and paste here, then click to the run. Okay, you can see I can get the result. Okay, I add a panel, white background panel, and on the panel I want to also add here a title, look like this title I want to add. Okay, so in this time I can use here the different types of style. different types of font style. If you want, you can also increase the font size. If you want, you can also use here the font bold, color bold, or also you can set the different types of color. Okay, so that's why I want to use here the another things. It's called the style. So I simply use here the another value is that style. I simply use here the style, and this style I want to set the style such as font size. I simply increase the font size such as, suppose I add the font size, suppose 22 pixel. So I simply use the 22, then pixel. Then I also add here the another thing such as the font width. So I simply use here the font, and I want to set this value is that, suppose bold. I want to need the bold letter. And then I also add here the another is that suppose color. So I simply use here the color and set the color, suppose black. You can use any color. So I simply use the black. So now it also set this style with this. So I simply click to the run. You can see. So now we can get the font size 22 pixel, and we can get the bold. You can see bold color. We can bold letter we can get, and we can get the black color. If you want, you can simply change the color, red, green, pink, or any color you can use. Okay, so this is the part for add the title. Okay, so you can say simply add the title. So first of all, I simply use the map.set center, because when it's showing the, first of all, it default showing the United States this as a center. Okay, suppose I want to show the center for the another region, then I can simply use here the map.set center, then use here my specific coordinate, longitude, then latitude and zoom level. Okay, then I want to create the panel. On the panel I want to add a title. So I simply use here the UI.panel, then use here the UI level, and I put the title name is that. I also add here this title, font size, font width, as well as also use here the font color. Okay, now map.add, this is the function. I want to add this all of the things with this map. So I simply use here the map.add, then I simply call this variable name and add this. Okay, so this is the part for adding the title. Okay, okay, so anyone any question in this part in here for adding this title? It's very easy. So you can I also send you all of the code, so you can also practice for your own self. Then I hope you can easily understand all of the details. Okay, so in this time you can see this web application. In this time I move to this site. In this site here you can find out, first of all you can see I find out in this place the white color background. Okay, on the white color background I can add here the select start date. Then I simply add here the date slider, also add here the calendar, this type of calendar. Then I also add here the another select int. Okay, then use here the region of interest, then draw the ROI. So in this time my target is that, first of all I create this white color background. White color background I want to create. Okay, and this is the panel. So on the panel or white color background as a panel, on the panel I want to add the select start date, then also add here the date slider, also add here the draw ROI. All of the things I want to add on the panel. Okay, which panel I want to create in this time. Okay, so let's go. In this time I create a panel. So okay, let's go. So I simply take a variable. So I simply take a variable, suppose panel. You can use any variable name. Okay, then I simply use at the user interface dot panel, and then it will be created. And this panel I also add here the some style. Okay, so I simply call this variable name panel and paste here, and use a function it called the style. I simply use here the style, and then I set this option set, and I set here all of the things. First of all I simply select this width. Okay, so I simply use here the width, suppose 300 pixel. There are the 300. Okay. So now you can see I want to add this. In this time, if you want, you can in this time I create this panel 300 pixel. Okay, 300 width pixel. So it will be just 300. Okay, so then I want to add this with my map. Okay, so in this time I want to use a function. It's called the UI, user interface. It will be start from the root, UI root dot add. Okay, then I simply call the variable name is that panel. Click copy and paste and click the run. In this time you can see it create a panel. Okay, so in this panel I want to add all of the things such as start date, in date, then all of the function I want to add here, so that anyone can using this panel and get all of the tab, all of the button I added in here, and they can easily use this for make the A-level sim or make the water quality analysis app. Okay, so in this time you can see I want to add there the 300 pixels, so that's why I can get the result. Suppose you want to use there the 200 pixel, then you can see the also smaller, you can see. Okay, so I use there the 300 pixel. Okay, so in this time you can see I can get this is my panel. So in this panel I want to add all of the things. You can see I add here the select start date, I add the date slider, all of the things I want to add on the panel. Okay, this it's called the panel. In this panel I want to add all of the things. Okay, so let's go. So first of all I want to add here this. Suppose you can see it's showing the first select start date. Okay, this sentence. So I simply copy this and then I simply use a function. You can see my panel is ready. So in this time all of the things I want to add on the panel. Okay, so for this I just simply use here this. I simply call the panel because panel is already created. So I simply call the panel. Okay, this variable I call panel. In this time on this panel I want to add a select start date. This thing select start date I want to add. So for this I simply use at the panel, and after this I simply add. So use at the add function. Okay, add, and in this time I want to add a label. So label means the title. When you want, you can see when I want to add the title, it's also a label. I want to start this thing in a label. So in this time, this is my panel. This panel I created in here. On this panel, I want to add a label. Okay, so I simply use here the function UI dot label. Okay, UI dot label, and then I simply call my label name is that select start date. Okay, so now you can see it will be added. When I click to the run, you can see on the panel I want to add the select start date. Okay, so now this is my panel. On this panel I want to add this select start date. Okay, so you can see here after the select start date I want to add a date slider. Look like this date slider. Oh, here I can get the calendar look like this. Okay, so for the date slider we need to use a function. It's called the date slider, user interface date slider. Okay, so for this I simply okay, so okay, in this here, okay, so I simply take a variable. Suppose date 1 or start date, any variable you can put. Then I simply use a function. It's called the user interface date slider. User interface UI date slider. So mainly it create a calendar look like this. Okay, so let's go. In this time I want to just put here my start date and end date. So I just simply, okay, you can see I can get all of the argument. So first of all it need a start date. Okay, then end date. Okay, so first of all I simply take a dictionary. I simply use here the curly bracket start and curly bracket end. Okay, so first of all start. So start, I simply put the start date. Suppose when it will be start. So I simply put the date is that suppose 01 from 01 2018. I simply put this date. Okay, and then in date. So in this time, in date I want to suppose in date I not set, it automatically update. Okay, suppose today is today date is that 24, so tomorrow is the 25, then 26, it automatically update. Okay, so I not set any time period, so that's why when I create this web application, it automatically updating when anyone can use this. Okay, so I not set the in time. Okay, I set this what's the time, what's the date today, or what's the date now. So anytime it will be automatically updating and get this time. Okay, so for this I simply in time will be that I simply put here the in, suppose I use at the ee dot date, and I set here the date now. Okay, so now it automatically get the update time. Okay, so I not set any time, so suppose all time we can, it will be gone. Okay, suppose today is 24, 25 is also take, 26 is also take. Okay, so I not set any limit. Okay, so it what the time now, or what the date now, any time or any future time, what the time now, it automatically get this time. Okay, so in this time I also, okay, it's not needed for this time, I simply remove. You're not, I simply remove all the things, it's not a first time. We need a style, so I want to simply take the style. I want to add here the this date slider white, so I simply use here this I make a dictionary in here and put here the white, and then I simply put this white such as suppose 270 pixel, look like this. Okay, so now you can see I set this date 1. Okay, so in this time I simply use the function UI date slider, and then I simply call this start date. Okay, and in date it updating what's the date now, or what's the date, it automatically get this time as a calendar. Okay, so then I use here the style, I simply use here the width 270 pixel. Okay, so in this time I want to add this date slider on the panel the same way, so I simply call the panel. Okay, I already create the panel, so I simply call the panel and paste here, and then I simply use a function, it's called the add. Okay, then simply call the date 1, because this date slider is stored in this variable date 1. I simply copy and paste here. Okay, then click to the run. So now you can check. Okay, so you can see it added a time. Okay, so I simply click to here, you can see I can get, okay, I can get this all of as like a calendar. Okay, you can see this is my date slider. I will simply select this date. Okay, so any date, suppose any future 24, in the 24 I can easily set the 24, 25, 26. So all of the date I can easily set for the anytime. You can see 24, today is 24, then 25. Okay, so when you want to check this link, or when you simply open this web application for 25 or 26, you can see automatically it also showing the 25 or 26, because in date I not set it, so I can use here the date now. Today is what date, then it automatically showing this date. So this is the function for date now. Okay, okay, so in this time I want to add this date slider for date 1, as well as I also need to make the another date slider for the date 2, such as you can see I need to add a select in date. Okay, so I need the letter signal in date, so the same way I can simply use the same code. So for this I simply just copy the previous code, I simply copy this previous code and paste here, then simply paste here. Okay, then I simply put here the select suppose in date, so I simply put here the in date. Now you can see this panel is also set this sentence in date. You can see select in date. So in this time I also need to add a date slider also, in date slider also. So in this time the same function I use, so I can simply copy this code from here, simply copy and paste here, and just simply change the name, suppose date 2. Okay, then I just simply add this panel, so I simply simply copy the same code in here and paste here, and change the variable name, simply copy the date 2 and paste here, and click to the run. So now you can check, we can get the 2 time calendar in here. Okay, so you can see we can get the you can see from this date slider, you can select your first time period, and then you can also select here the second time period from this calendar. Okay, so anyone any question in this time in here, or any doubt? Any question? And using the same method you can create any types of web application, not only for the water quality analysis. So using the same method you can create the any types of web application. Okay, when you want to show the suppose NDVI, LST, so any types of which we already work for in the Google Earth Engine platform, any types of work you can easily make this type of web application. Okay, so anyone any question? Okay, so in this time we create the date slider. After the date slider we need to create the, okay, we can check what after this, we can create the region of interest. So this type of sentence we need to create, so it's very easy. So we can simply panel, after the panel we can add a level. Okay, just it. So the same code I can simply use again. Suppose I first of all I simply call the panel. Okay, so I simply copy the panel and paste here. In this panel I want to add a level, so I simply use here the add function. After the add function I simply use here the UI dot level. Okay, and what is the level? This level is that region of interest. Now click to the run. Now you can see, so now this level is also added with this. Okay, so in this time you can see I can get this region of interest. In this time I want to remove all of the you can see the drawing tool. Okay, so you can see draw a rectangle, draw polygon, draw line. I want to remove all of the rectangle, because you can see in this time this web application there is the no drawing tool. Okay, drawing tool is not available in here. So in this time I also remove all of the drawing tool. So that's why anyone user, they can select the drawing tool from here, such as rectangle. They can simply select the rectangle and they can get the result. So that's why in this time I simply remove all of the drawing tool from here. Okay, so for this it's very easy. So let's go. So for the removing all of the drawing tool, we need to use a function. It's called the map.drawingTools. So map.drawingTools, this is the function. And then when you can set the false boolean value, true or false. True means it's showing, and false means nothing, anyone showing. So in this time we use here the map.drawingTools, this function. So for this I can simply take a variable. Suppose this variable name is that, suppose I can simply put the drawing tools. Okay, you can use any variable name. Then I simply use here the map dot drawing tools function, map dot drawing tools function, and then I set it as a false. So that's why when I set this map dot drawing tools set as a false, we now you can see I simply drawing tools, and then I simply call this variable name drawing tools, and then I simply paste here and use here the set shown as a false, and click the run. In this time you can see now all of the drawing tool is removed from here. Okay, so you can see we can get the totally clear of this place. So there is nothing for the drawing tool or all of the things is nothing in here. Okay. Okay. So in this time, I want to create a drawing tool in here. Okay. And also add here a button, such this button you can see, draw ROI. So when anyone click on, in this time you can see when I draw ROI, it automatically showing open a panel in here. Okay, automatically click. So I also need to select this option. So when anyone click on the draw ROI, automatically one panel is opening in here, because in this panel it's showing the legend, then also showing the animation, also showing the time series chart. Okay, so in this time, so I simply click to run again. Okay, so in this time I want to and in this time anyone can, and I also need to set the option so anyone can draw one rectangle one time. Okay, so at the same time you did not create the two rectangle. Okay, so in this time you can see when I click to here, it's showing this panel look like this, and when I click on here, it's showing, it also showing. Okay, in this time when I also set this, suppose I simply select this time period, suppose, and in time period I select here the suppose turbidity, and then click the submit. So you can see here I can create, I can select, or I draw the two rectangle in here, but I can get only for the one layer. Okay, so I can create the two rectangle, first rectangle in here, also rectangle in here, but I can get only for the one layer. So that's why I also need to set the option only for the one layer. Suppose you can take the lot of rectangle, lot of point, lot of region of interest, but it's showing only for the one layer. Okay, so for this I need a function, I need to create a function. For this function I simply use a function. I need to clear all of the geometry and move and get only for the one layer. Okay, and also define the shape is the rectangle. Okay, so for this I simply use a function. I put the function keyword, and then after the function keyword I simply put the function variable name is that, suppose clear geometry. Okay, clear geometry. Use here the parenthesis. In this parenthesis I can simply use here the all of the argument. So in this time my argument is that I can simply take a variable and put the variable name is that layers. In this layers I can simply call the drawing tools. So I already defined the drawing tools, so I simply call the drawing tools and paste here drawing tools. After this I can simply add a layer, so I simply use add the layers function. So drawing tools, so when I in this time I create this part, so when anyone click on this draw ROI button, it create a layer. Okay, so this function I created, so I simply use here the clear geometry, then I simply put here this parenthesis, then simply use here the curly bracket. In this curly bracket I simply take a variable layers, and drawing tools I use here the layers. Okay, so in this time another thing is that I need to set the layers get from the 0 Okay, so for this I can simply call this variable name layers and paste here, and after this I use here the get 0, and then also define it the geometries, so geometries, and then I also use here the remove function, remove remove this geometry from this layer, from these layers, and get the 0. Okay, and also put here the geometries, 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 and also set here the get. Okay, so in this time I want to set this, and then I also call the draw rectangle. So I want to create the draw rectangle. So for this I simply call the clear geometry again and paste here and use here the blank. Okay, then I simply take the another function and put the function name is that, suppose, draw rectangle, and then empty, and then I simply use define all of the things. So I simply use at this curly bracket, in this curly bracket I simply call the clear geometry and paste here. After this I simply define the shape, which shape I want to need. For the drawing tools, I want to set the shape rectangle. So drawing tools and set the shape shape. I want to set shape, so set set and shape. Okay, so now I can simply put here the rectangle. Okay, I set the drawing tools as a rectangle, and then I simply call the drawing tools and use here the draw function. Okay, so in this time I add this. Okay, and then I set this. So as well as I also need to create the another thing is that when anyone click on this, such as on this click the draw ROI, I need to also create the another panel. Okay, another white color panel I also need to create. Okay, so for this I can simply create the another panel option. So for this, okay, I write this, then I also add this panel, so when anyone click on this here, it automatically showing as a panel in here. So for this, I can simply take a variable. Suppose this variable name is the panel R, or R, you can simply use any name, panel R. And then I simply use here the UI dot panel function, UI dot panel, and then use here, and in this time you need to set some style. Okay, you need to set some style. So I simply copy the panel R and paste here, and this panel I want to set the style as a style. This style I need to set, I simply use the set option, and then I can simply use here the white. I make a dictionary, I simply put here the white. So I can simply put the white, suppose 250 cell, as well as I also add here this one, and I simply put the position. Okay, then I simply set this. So in this time I need to create a button. So button means that in this time you can see I also create the button, this type of button I need to create, and when anyone click on this button, it it opening this type of panel, and then from this draw ROI it also we can easily select our region of interest. Okay, so for this I need a button. So for this button I can simply use a function. Suppose I simply use a, first I take a variable. Suppose this variable name is the pro arc or draw rectangle. So then I simply use a function called the UI dot button. Okay, UI dot button. In this time, first of all, you can see in this button has a name. Okay, this name call as a level. Okay, this is a level or this is a title, and then also you can see this button showing as a this name showing as a horizontal. Okay, not vertical, showing the horizontal. And then when anyone click on this button, what happened? I need to set it. Then I need to use a function. It called the on click function. So on click function mainly, suppose when I click, what happened? This type of work we can use for on click function. Okay, so for this, okay, let's go. So I use this UI dot button, and you can check all of the argument I can get. So I make a dictionary. I can also make another dictionary in here. Okay. So first of all, level. Level is the title. Level is the name of the button. So I can simply put the name as that. Suppose draw ROI. You can put any name. I can simply draw ROI. Then in this draw ROI, I also need to add the some style. So in this time, style, I simply add the style. Suppose I can simply add the style. Suppose I need the stress as a horizontal. So this button showing as a horizontal. So I simply use this, and then okay. So I simply change the style. So I want to add here the style. Simply copy this keyword and then paste here. Okay. Then make a keyword, and I make also a dictionary in here. In this dictionary, simply put here the STRE work. Okay. Then I simply put this value, suppose horizontal. Okay. Then I can get this result look like this. Okay. And then use the comma sign and then on click function. So in this time, on click, when click on this button, what happened? I need to define it. Okay. So for this, I need to make a function. So I simply use here the function keyword I call, and in this function keyword I use a parenthesis, and then I simply make a dictionary. Okay. So in the dictionary, so I simply in the dictionary put here the argument what happened. Okay. So when this function click anyone, it draw a rectangle. Okay, it draw a rectangle. So I can simply call this. You can see I already create the function for draw rectangle. I simply copy this draw rectangle. I simply copy from here and paste here. Only paste here. Draw rectangle. Okay. After draw rectangle, what happened? It also create the panel. In this panel, look like this white color background. It's created. Okay. So for this, I need a function. Its function called the UI dot root. It will be start from the root. Then insert. Then insert two things. First of all, 0 from it will be start from the layers from the. So suppose in this time there are the no layer. Okay, but when I click to here, then it will be showing. It will be start from the such as 0. Then I can simply call the panel R, which is panel showing. You can see I already created the panel. This panel is the 250 pixel width. So I simply copy and paste here. Okay. Then it's not enough. I simply remove it. Okay. So now I create this type of button, and then I check this button is good or not. So for this, the same way you can see this. I create this button, and this all of the things I stored in a variable draw R. Okay. In this time, I want to add this button in my panel. Okay. So I simply call the panel. So you can see my panel is that I simply copy the panel. In this panel, I want to add. I simply use the add this drawer. I simply copy and paste here. Okay. Now everything is the good. Then we can get the result. Otherwise, we can get the wrong. So click to the run. You can check. Okay, so I also need to import a geometry also. So for this so just a minute, I simply import the geometry. You can see now I simply can see import. When I click here, you can see a new line code will be added here. You can see, click here, and it's showing the 0 vertex. So I already set the 0, so you can see 0. So in this time, I simply opening this code again, because in this time it's not needed for this time, and click to the run. It working. Another parameter is that showing the panel dot r color is not defined. Why? Okay, I need to use a function. Every function has a parenthesis. Okay? Then again, okay, wi. Okay, I also spelling wrong in here. It will be just width. Width. Yes. Okay, I need to use here the colon. I use here the colon. Then click on. Okay. So now it properly works, and you can see we can create the draw ROI button. And when I click on the draw ROI button, you can see it showing as a panel. Okay, everything is good, and I can easily draw the ROI. Okay, so you can see it appeared because I use the on click function. So mainly on click function, you can see on click keyword, it define what you want to. Suppose I click here, then what happened? Okay, so you can say I click again, run this code again. So you can see I can when I click on the draw ROI, you can see it's showing a panel or white color background, which I can set all of the things such as legend, title, animation, time series chart, all of the things. It will be appeared. You can see when I click the draw ROI, it will be appearing. Okay, so now all of the things will be added in here, and we can easily get the result. Okay, so in this time, for this user interface, for all of the things, for date slider, draw ROI, anyone any question or any doubt for this? Anyone any question? Okay, so I also send you the all of the video recorded class, as well as also send you the practice code, so you can also practice for your own region or on own thing. Suppose in this time I want to show you the layer. Suppose I think there are the total TSS, then total suspended solid, then chlorophyll and turbid, 3 layer. So you also try to make this type of another web application, such as you want to show the NDVI map, you want to show the LST map. Okay, so you can simply select here the item. You can see in this map, I can select here the chlorophyll turbidity. So you can select here the NDVI, LST, or other types of option. You can also select in here. Then when you can click this, you can get the result. You can get all of the things. So I also send you this full code for your practice, and you also try to make the map for another data set, not only for the water quality. So this is the best practice for you. And then face any problem for anything, you did not get this, then you also try to get the support from me. Okay. Okay, so in this time I create my create my ROI. Then I check what I need. You can see in this time I draw the ROI. I need to add a I need to add a this type of calculation to perform this type of sentence I want to add. Okay, then I simply copy this. So it's very easy. So using the same process, I need to add this in my panel. Okay, so I simply copy this, and then I just simply call my panel variable name, and then add. I want to add a level, so I simply use add the UI dot level. Okay, so now I simply paste here UI dot level and paste here this calculate. Yes, what happened? Okay, so now click to the run. You can this time you can see. So I can see it will be added calculation to perform. In this time, I want to make a list. So all of the things I want to make a list, and all of the things I want to add a tab. So you can see it's showing the list. So list tab. So from this list tab, I want to easily select all of the option. Okay. So this type of option I need to create. So for this, it's very easy. So for this, I simply so first of all, I need to create the list. So for the list, I can simply suppose I take a variable and give the variable name is that suppose items. So in this items, I want to add all of the list which I want to need. Okay, so I simply use at the square bracket and put all of the list. Suppose I want to need the turbidity. I also need to need suppose chlorophyll. I also want to need for suppose TSS, as well as suppose I also need for the another thing is that sentinel to RGB color or true color composite RGB. Okay. So you can see which list drop down list. It is also called the drop down list. You can see drop down list. We can get the drop down list. So in this time I select all of the list item in a variable items. Okay. Then from this item I need to select. Okay. So I need to select all of the things in a drop down list. Okay. So for this I simply take another variable. Suppose I simply take the variable and give the variable name is that suppose my select item. Okay, and then I simply use a function user interface dot select. Okay, user interface dot select. In this time this S is capital select. Okay, so you can see user interface, all of the user interface showing as a bold purple color. You can see bold purple color, not normal purple color. It's showing as a bold purple color. You can see user interface select, user interface level, user interface button. So all of the things showing as a bold. Okay, so in this time I select what I select. I want to select my items. So I can simply copy the variable name items because I use here the items this like this and paste here. Okay, and then you can also put the another way is that you can also get the some information about this selected item. So I can simply make a I simply print this. So select calculation value. Select calculation value. You can select. In this time I select this, and then I need to add this with my panel. So this is my panel. This panel I want to add this. So for this, I just simply call the panel. Then I simply use the add function, and then simply call the my select item. Copy and paste here and click to the run. So now you can check what happened. Okay, you can see select calculation item. It's showing this. Okay, select calculation item. because I use here this select calculation value. Okay, sorry, value, select calculation value. Okay, so now you can see when I click here, you can see I can get all of the things. I can get the drop down list such as turbidity, chlorophyll, TSS, sentinel. Okay, so all of the things I want to get, but you can see in this code I did not add anything for the turbidity, chlorophyll, TSS, sentinel 2. I did not anything. So in this time, anyhow, I want to create the turbidity map. I need to create the chlorophyll map. I need to create the TSS map. I need to create the sentinel 2 RGB map. Okay, for showing this result. Okay, you can see in this time all of the things I added, but I did not add the data set. Okay, I did not add the data set for the turbidity data set, for the chlorophyll, all of the calculation, all of the monitoring data set. In this time I want to add this. And previous class I also try to show you the all of the things for the normally, suppose randomly. So you can simply, I can say in this code I simply select the date. Okay, in my code. Okay, in this time you can select the date from here. Okay, in this time I simply import my shape file from here, or region of interest from the asset tab. In this time you can simply click on the draw ROI and select your ROI. You can get the result. Okay, and in this time we can also select here the map.add layer, and we can get the result as a layer. So in this time we can simply select our option turbidity, chlorophyll. Okay, all of the layer I can simply select which data I want to need. I simply select this, then click to the submit, then it will be work. Okay, okay, so in this time you can check. In this time we also need to add here the another thing. Suppose you can check, you can see there also add here the another run button. Okay, run. So this is not button, this is a text. So I also add here the run, and then after the run I also add here the submit. So in this time you can see okay, so I simply clear this map. I need the for the two things in this time, submit button and clear map button. In this time you can see when I click, suppose, okay, so I simply draw the ROI. I simply draw the ROI, and then I simply click on the TSS. In this time main, you can see when I click on the submit, what happened. You can see when I click on the submit, you can see it will be showing the legend, it's showing the animation, it's showing the time series chart. So total 3 types of tasks when I click on the submit button. Okay, so in this time when I make the submit button, I need to add all of the data set, all of the color, all of the legend, all of the things I need to add, because when I click on the submit, all of the things will be appearing, such as this type of legend, this type of animation, this type of time series chart. Okay, so in this time we need to create the submit button, and submit button, for the submit button on click function is very important. So we need to write a lot of code in this time for the on click function. So because you can see when I click on the submit, a lot of tasks will be happened. Suppose we created the legend, it created the animation, it created the such as this type of chart, not only for the one data set. So all of the data set you can see TSS or chlorophyll, I submit, I can get for the chlorophyll all of the things. Okay, for the another data set you can see for the turbidity, I can get all of the things for the turbidity when I click on the submit. So all of the things for the turbidity, for the chlorophyll, for the total suspended solid, I want to add only for the submit button on click function. Okay, then I can get all of the things one by one. As well as also you can see sentinel 2 RGB. So this is the only for the color, only for the sentinel imagery. I can see for this region what the sentinel imagery we can get from here. Okay, okay. So in this time we can just work with this function for making the submit button, and this button is very important because when I click on the submit button, it's showing all of the things. Okay, so let's go, and I also need to add here the run button. It's very easy. So for this I can simply use here this, I call the panel. In this panel I want to add a label. I simply add here UI dot label, and then use here the, I can simply run this run run. So now you can see this run is added with my panel. You can see run. Okay, so in this time we need to create the 2 button First button is the submit and second button is the clear map. So when I click the clear map, it will be gone all of the things. But submit, it will be happen the lot of work for making all of the things. Okay. So let's go. In this time, I also try to use our previous code. Just I copy. Then I also try to show you that how can easily add all of the code in the submit on click function. Submit button on click function. Then you can easily get this. Okay. So in this time, anyone any question about this? Any here? Anyone any question in this time in here? Or any doubt? And I also send you the recorded video class as well as I'll send the practice code. So you also practice and then face any problem, then let me know. Okay.